Art is the heartbeat of culture. It tells a story of who we are, where we've been, and the dreams we carry forward. From the bold patterns of Ndebele designs to the sleek innovations of BMW craftsmanship. Standing here at the stunning Askara Haus, where modern architecture embraces the beauty of nature, we are reminded of how design shapes our connection to history and culture. And while history has often been confined to old, uninspiring formats, the writers and the designers of BMW, the unique South African story, they've broken the walls of tradition. They've reimagined the way history is told, blending art, design, and culture into a masterpiece brought to life through storytelling and craftsmanship. Now we explore this extraordinary book with Johann, a writer whose passion for storytelling has shaped South African automotive history, and Cherize, an interior designer who understands how spaces and stories are meant to move us. This isn't just a story, it's an experience. And it all starts here at the Askara Haus. Design is more than what we see. It's what we feel, touch, even how it inspires us. So today we are at the breathtaking Askara Haus, a space where art, design, and storytelling comes together seamlessly. My name is Neo Lurutla, also known as Elegant Pedi, and in this exclusive interview, we are exploring the artistry behind BMW, the unique South African story, a book that celebrates 50 years of legacy in South Africa. Joining me is Johann, a brilliant co-author who brought this masterpiece to life. We are also joined by Cherize, a renowned interior designer who will share her thoughts on how meaningful design transforms spaces that we live in. So from the intricacies of the book to the emotion that it evokes, we are diving deep into the connection between art, design, and stories that defines us. So let's get started. Johann, let's start with you, right? Was storytelling always being a part of your life growing up? And did your upbringing play a role in shaping your passion for writing and creativity? And also, how did that lead you to this project that we are seeing here today?
So I've always had a passion for cars. And I've said this before. I grew up in El Dorado Park, and there was no way that you could not be passionate about BMW. 12 years ago, I started subscribing to a magazine called BMW Car from the UK. And I found that they were not telling the South African story. And I approached them and I said, one of my favorite cars is being restored in South Africa. It's a 2002 TII. And would you mind if I do the story? And that's how it started. That's how I started my writing career, initially as a hobby, which became a full-time career. And that's how, it led to this book.
Like they say, you cannot think up to the level you're exposed to. So that exposure in your environment where cars are celebrated actually gave you an interest into the automotive, I believe?
Yes, got a definite passion for cars, as I've said, but the other reality is that you're not going to be able to own every car that you like. But at least through my writing, I can be part of that car's journey.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's so fascinating how our journeys can really, shape us to produce such amazing work that we are seeing here. So now, Cherize, as an interior designer, right, creating spaces that tells a story, it's actually at the heart of what you do, right? So I still remember that we met 7 years ago in a deco shop, and who would have thought that we'll be here, today and talking about this masterpiece in front of us. So yeah, can you just tell us a little bit about your background? Did your upbringing and earlier experiences, right, influence the path of interior designing, and how did that shape the way you in which you view unique creations, well, such as this book?
So I wish my story was very interesting like it, but I think I've always just had a passion to create beautiful things and to mix elements together. The only thing I could work on was my bedroom at school and in high school. So it was always, even now, I've been told that it was a very memorable room. I always brought unique elements together and I could just live out my passion in my bedroom. So I knew that I wanted to do something creative and definitely do something where there's beauty around me.
Oh, amazing. So you've always had it in you, I believe.
Definitely.
It's truly inspiring to hear how each of your backgrounds have shaped your journey. Now, I'm curious, Johann, you are the co-author of the book, and I'm just curious to know, how did the partnership come about?
So I met my co-author Marek 12 years ago through the BMW Car Club, and we both had a desire to put the book together. He had his own ideas of what he wanted to do, and I had my own. And the chairman at the time, Johann Venter, suggested that we actually, swap notes. And that's what we did. That's what we did. And we found that there were synergies, and we found that we both wanted to do the book. And we started to pursue it. We started, speaking to BMW. And I'm just going to delve into the story a little bit. We 10 years ago started talking to BMW and saying, there's such a unique story to be told here. It has to be told. Let's do it. And we had to go through 3 heads of communication and 2 CEOs before we finally were able to do the book. It took us up to 7 years to convince them. But we were passionate and we were determined that we were going to do the book.
Wasn't that a discouraging factor? I mean, you've got this brilliant idea, you've got the story to tell, and 10 years is a long time.
It was worth it at the end of the day. And in my own journey, I started writing for one publication in the UK, which was BMW Car, as I mentioned. And I wanted to write for other publications, but that took years. For me to get into GT Porsche, as an example, it didn't happen overnight. It was a 3-year stretch before I could start writing for them. But once I started building my portfolio, I could write for Total 911, thoroughbred and classic cars, a Mercedes enthusiast. The point I want to make is that if you don't have that determination and you don't have that patience and the wherewithal, nothing comes easy. And this was definitely worth it. Yes, it might have taken 10 years, but I think also as a matter of interest, the stars aligned. Peter van Bindensberger became the CEO, and he's a huge, passionate car guy. First South African CEO at BMW. And BMW also turned 50 last year. And they then decided, this is the catalyst. We've been hounded by these guys for years to do this book. Now's the opportunity to do it.
Johann, that's a very interesting story as to how you came together to create this masterpiece, right? But now, the title of the book, BMW, the unique South African story, it really stands out. Can you just unpack for us the word unique and what makes this a story, a very unique story, especially in the context of South Africa?
Yes, it absolutely does. There's so many unique aspects of the book. Just to point out one for you, that BMW itself was not started in South Africa by BMW. It was started by South African entrepreneurs, Hannes Pretorius and Gunther Ludwig. And through our journey, we discovered that, but also things like, esthermahlangu being the first African to paint a BMW art car.
My Esther has made valuable contributions to contemporary art the world over for more than 7 decades.
Our focus initially was on the unique models that were made for South Africa, but we found so many other unique aspects of the story of BMW in this country.
Now, Cherize, speaking of unique, right? Johann just shared what unique means in the context of the book, right? From your perspective as an interior designer, what does the word unique means to you, and how do you bring uniqueness into the spaces that you create? And why is it so important in terms of design?
So for me, to express the client's uniqueness, basically you have to look at their personality and their individuality. So I would do uniqueness through custom furniture, a one-of-a-kind piece, or a color scheme or unusual textures. So different elements to make it more unique to the client, basically.
Do you believe that every design element or a pattern should have a story behind it?
Definitely. That's what makes a home more homely. So memorabilia from overseas, from people who love to travel, that can be on a coffee table or displayed, and it's a conversation starter as well. Family portraits, maybe an heirloom. It's definitely, it adds depth to their home and it makes it come alive.
Now, back to you, Johann. BMW has a long history of appreciating art and design, as seen with esthermahlangu's iconic designs on the BMW cars, right? And was her work or the artistic tradition an inspiration behind the patterns and the design elements that are used on the cover and the layout of the book?
Most definitely. So BMW celebrated 50 years last year, and they really took the indibele design, which was initiated by esthermahlangu. So last year BMW turned 50 and they really exploited using, the indibele pattern and the indibele design. And we thought it was important to carry that through within the book. And it appears throughout the book. I mean, we were at the beginning of the book, but there you can appreciate it again. We've also, created a special logo with the indibele design around it that you find throughout the book. And if I go through there, you see it's very prominent. We've used it, and BMW is also known for these, the M symbol, right? But we've just switched it around because it's normally the other way around. But that's part of the designer that we thought would be nice to incorporate. If I can just also show you that what we did was we've also used the indibele pattern for the page numbers, which really reflects well. And if I maybe just go forward to a specific section, I can show you how we also used it specifically in the car section. So there was also a video series that Marik was involved with last year on cars.co.za, 6 episodes. So what's nice is, again, using the indibele pattern. If you scan a QR code, you can actually go and watch the episode on this particular car. I specifically want to go to this car and show you how we also further used the art work in terms of incorporating it into the book. So the other tricolors of the famous tricolors of BMW, and there you can see it there. And if I turn the page over, you'll see the tricolors on the car, and then you see it being reflected in the book as well. So we really wanted to maximize that, and it makes the book so much richer, I think. And again, very reflective of South Africa, celebrating South African culture. And as you know, we've got a limited edition book, and this one is really special because it comes in a leather box. We've made a very special badge with it, and we foiled into the leather using a copper foiling. It shows and reflects quite nicely, and then we've inlaid the indibele pattern, and we've used ribbon so you can actually physically feel it. So you can enjoy the texture, and you can appreciate the man hours and the labor of love that went into it. And if we open it, as we said earlier on, we've got all the signatures of the CEOs, and we've got that copper feel, so it looks like a real plaque. Well, this is an aluminium, so different textures again. This is an aluminium plate reflective of what you used to get in a 333. And your number of your book is reflected at 323 out of 333. And again, the book itself is in leather. You have your indibele ribbon inlaid. We've included that aluminium vent plate again. And to lift your book out of the box, and you can see it's a heavy book. We've got a nice indibele ribbon to do that. And what's really nice, because these books are limited to 333, which is reminiscent of the 333, we've actually reprinted the 333 brochure, which is very, very scarce. This was done in 1985, and we've done a reproduction of it. And to find it, again, like I said to you, with that plot of the CEOs is a difficult exercise, but when you buy the limited edition, this is what you're going to get with it. This is the limited edition, and we're making 333 of them in commemoration of the 333.
So the ideology came from the limited edition, the 333.
Yes. So that's where we took it from. And like I said, if you look at this vent plate, this vent plate is identical to what you'll find on the inside of the engine of the 333. And then you get your own number when you buy the book. So that's 323 out of 333.
I'm just wondering, how do you come up with such a creativity? Attention to detail. Because holding this alone, you already feel special, because you know that you are one of the 333 people that have this book, and only that. Are there plans of perhaps recreating some of those books for whoever in the future would like to have a taste of this? Or is it going to be a situation whereby these books will be auctioned for like R1 million? I think it's going that route. So
for now, we've made 2,000 of the standard that comes with the slipcase, as I showed you. And that's not the last production time in the greater scheme of things. So that is quite limited as well. But this is very, very limited. And I think we might do a reproduction of this, in the future, once all 2,000 are sold and there is a demand. But I think we don't want to shortchange the people that, wanted a limited edition. So I think this is where the limited edition will end. But there's quite a large possibility that if there's a demand once the standard book runs out, that we will do a reproduction.
No, precisely. Okay. No, thank you so much. Oh, just touching this alone, the leather, the texture, the feel of the book, the quality itself.
Yeah, you can see there's the pattern. So what you find is, for every chapter what we've done is, if I can guess, every chapter's got that. So that is throughout the book. And it's in various shapes, and the elements are slightly different here and there, but it's very much part of the book.
So what I also appreciate the most is that you gave photographs a chance, because I did hear a little bit about some of the images that has been used in the book that they've never seen a light of day, and that is in this premium masterpiece book.
Yes.
No, that's a very beautiful observation from that, giving what we thought will never be seen globally, but now it is in this beautiful book.
Yes, that's the other delight about the book, is that you're going to see things that you've never seen before. And as I was discussing with her, we got stuff from all over the world who did our research. And people sent us photographs, they sent us clippings, they sent us whatever they had. And we want to give the reader an authentic experience. So we didn't retouch any of the scans. So the stuff like this, for example, that we scanned is exactly the way we found it. So, in the state that we found it is the state you're going to see it basically in the book, and I think that's part of the experience. Yeah, exactly. This is how we found history, basically.
Following what Johann shared about the inspiration behind the book's patterns and design, how do you think meaningful design elements like this one contribute to the emotional connection within a space?
So this book is more than a collector's item. It's a work of art. It adds sophistication and depth to any space with its slick design and rich storytelling. It effortlessly combines beauty with function, which will elevate any room that it's in. Therefore, it acts as a storytelling, a conversational piece, as well as a centerpiece. And it resonates emotionally with those who value legacy and craftsmanship.
So in your experience, right, do you think how something look can create an emotion in a space? How it looks, how it's designed, how it feels, how it smells. Does it create an emotional connection within a space?
Yes, so design is not just about how it looks. It's meant to wake up some senses in you. So if we're looking at the elements of smell, touch, sight, those are definitely evoked with particular pieces. So if you're looking at texture, it creates comfort. Sight, it brings all the elements together. Smell can evoke an emotion. So it's really very important to marry those all together and not just a piece that's got no history behind it.
So Johann, if you were not part of this project and you're not a writer of this project and so forth, right? What was going to be your first reaction when you enter a space and you see this book presented either at gallery, at an office? What would be your first impression about the book besides you reading it? But how would you
I would say, wow, it's so South African. It celebrates South Africa. And I would say, well done. And if I didn't write it, I would say, well done. It was high time. But as I've mentioned before, I've never seen a car book that brings culture and the automotive space all together like we've done with this particular book.
Can I safely say, wow, well done. Well done. That's exactly how I feel about this book. I can't stop looking at it. The context, the relevance, the touch, the feel. So yes, well done. So just also to comment what Cherize was mentioning about having an item in a space that you can feel, touch, and all of that. It evokes certain emotions, and that's exactly what this book does. You don't have to open the book, but you can already tell that these are South African patterns. And you see the logo, it's like, there's automotive in there. So yeah. Okay, well done, well done.
Proudness, like South Africa is behind this beautiful book, and it makes you just feel even more.
What message or emotion were you hoping the book's design would invoke in the hands of the readers?
It's very in-depth in terms of the literature and the images that we put into the book. So we've got black and white stuff from the 1930s in here. And then we've got bang up-to-date stuff that we very recently took. So I think it shows a lot of depth, and how do I put it? It's a different experience through different parts of the book. And what we also tried to do is, when we specifically were focusing on the cars, we also put in a lot of literature that was published at the time. of those particular cars. We even photographed the manuals that the cars came with. So I think there's a lot of depth to the book. I think, it for older people, it will stir a lot of emotions, because they will look back to a time when they could appreciate those cars. And I think for maybe for younger readers, it will inspire them to say, wow, BMW did this. This is why we can appreciate this brand.
Thank you so much, Johann. Cherize, I saw you engaging with Johann when we got here, and you got to, take a look at the book. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, why do you think artistic pieces like this book, right, hold a long-term value, and what makes them timeless and meaningful?
So what I saw was this book is definitely timeless. It blends craftsmanship with storytelling, and it's not just a decorative item. It carries meaning, personality, and history. And the way BMW has preserved the rich heritage in South Africa, it's not just a visual masterpiece, but also a cultural treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And that will carry on for many, many years, and it will always be relevant.
Absolutely, Cherize. Can you give us some ideas on how this book can be positioned in different settings, like a home, an office, or even an art gallery? Like, how would you use it to complement the space?
So I would definitely place it where it can truly shine. So if it's at a home, I would place it on a coffee table or on a bookshelf. But I think a coffee table definitely for a home. And then you can pair it with some complementary decor, maybe a sleek vase or a small sculpture. In an office, you can place it on a desk or on a side table. And also, if you want to complement it with decor, but I feel like, especially in an office, it needs to be surrounded with neutral tones so that the elegance can be elevated. And then also you can, another idea for an office is to pair it with other books, also coffee table books, but also just to create a bit of a visual interest if you'd like. The key to this book is to surround it with, to actually draw inspiration from the book's cover, and that will guide the surrounding decor. So the color and the design will predict the surrounding decor around it.
Oh, so that's where color patterns comes in, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay. No, interesting, actually. Now, Johann, who do you envision the ideal reader or the collectors of this book? Is it a BMW fan? Is it an art lover? Or someone else entirely?
I think that the book has got enough for everybody. For the BMW enthusiast, there's plenty of stories. For the historian, somebody that's interested in history, there's plenty there. And yeah, I'm really glad that we incorporated, the projects that BMW South Africa are involved with, in particular art. I'm also glad that, Esther plays a crucial role in this book, not only in the BMW section, but in the art section, but in a previous section under leadership. When Kunstler was the CEO of BMW, that's when Pam Chappell discovered esthermahlangu. So in summing it up, I think there's something for everybody in this book. It's a South African story, and it's a story not just about the cars, but about the people who made BMW great, and BMW's involvement in more than just building cars.
Thank you so much, Johann. Cherize, how do you think South African design elements, like the ones that we see in the book, can inspire or influence global trends?
South African design blends cultural richness with modern innovation, and that gives it a fresh perspective. So looking at this book, we can see bold colors, we can see texture, and that inspires the global trends, and it also encourages them by perhaps being more sustainable and doing a cultural awareness. And I feel like that will overflow into the design world, and therefore it will be affected worldwide.
Absolutely. Now, again, Cherize, with global trends moving towards sustainability, right? How do you balance incorporating unique and meaningful pieces like this book while maintaining sustainable approach in your design work?
So with this book, this is a timeless piece. You do not have to replace it. It's forever in your home. And that's basically what I would like to carry on with design furniture and furniture pieces. It needs to be eco-friendly, sustainable, supporting local artisans instead of importing, and basically just design responsibly and make it memorable.
Thank you, Johann and Cherize, for sharing such an incredible insight into the artistry, stories and design behind BMW, the unique South African story. This conversation has truly highlighted the power of creativity and the impact of meaningful design in every experiences that we have within a space or just in our lives entirely. Right. So thank you so much. It was quite interesting. Johann, Cherize, today has been a celebration of passion, design, and legacy to many more stories and creation. Cheers. My journey is about connecting the worlds of design, art, architecture, and automotive, showing how these elements don't just coexist but inspire one another to tell a richer and deeper stories. This book, BMW, the unique South African story, represent years of unwavering dedication. Johann and Marek spent countless hours pursuing a vision, patiently earning BMW's trust to bring this masterpiece to life. Through their passion and perseverance, they have created something that isn't just about cars. It's about history, culture, and the stories that makes us who we are. Now, Cherize reminded us of something profound. Design isn't just about filling spaces. It's about creating emotions. This book becomes one piece of art that transforms any space it touches, inspiring conversations, connection, and meaning. BMW is one of celebrating art and innovation. Over the years, BMW has empowered some of the world's most iconic artists and designers, from Alexander Calder, who launched the first BMW art car in 1975, to Andy Warhol, expressive transformation from the BMW M1, and Esther Mahlangu's bold Ndebele designs on the BMW 525i in 1991. BMW continues to bridge the gap between art and engineering. Today, Esther Mahlangu's legacy inspires advancements like the groundbreaking BMW i5 Flow, proving that art is not just about beauty, it's about honoring the past, driving evolution, and shaping the future. To every dreamer, every storyteller, and every creator watching this, never underestimate the power of your vision. Great art, great design, and great stories takes time, but they are always worth it. This is Elegant Pedi. This is a celebration of connection, creativity, and legacy. Thank you for being part of this journey.